And it's always a good day to bring in the head basketball coach of the Raiders. Of course, that is Coach Mike Fuline. Coach Michael, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. How is your Thursday going?
Sammy, everything's going well, brother. It's my youngest's 15th birthday, so we're going to go out and celebrate a little bit tonight in honor of him. I'm getting old, brother. When your youngest is 15,
Oh my God, ours is 18. So yeah,
it's crazy.
15. So what is a celebration birthday? What is it like for a 15-year-old now in 2025? What do you do there?
This time here, my oldest was 3 days ago, so
Okay.
we just go to a quick dinner, and have a good time. Just Amy and I and whoever's birthday it is, and then they tend to like that, and then eventually we all get together and have some fun. But looking forward to that.
That's great. That is birthdays. When I'm not going to speak for you, Coach, because you're a lot more spry than I am. My age, birthdays are like, I don't know. You're darn happy that you're celebrating them. Don't get me wrong, but they're a lot different than they used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago.
That's for sure. That's for sure, man.
All right, let's talk some Mount Union hoops. Let's take a little back. A couple of nights ago, you took care of Baldwin Wallace at the Mack Center. Now, because of a high school conflict that night, I had that ridiculous McKinley Glennoe game at the Fieldhouse that night, and so we had Keller and crew covering the Mount Union game, and he's feeding me scores throughout. Then I'm like, okay, we got this in the bag, 59-32, good. And then he sends me a text, Elijah's battling a foot injury. So what are you talking about, battling a foot injury? So let's get up to speed there. How is the big man Elijah, and talk about your win against the Jackets on Tuesday?
Yeah, his foot's been bothering him. Probably shouldn't have played against Muskingum, but toughed it out. We kind of needed him, even if it was just for rebounding issues. But on that quick of a turnaround, he just couldn't go. So we'll see. I don't know if he'll be ready to go on Saturday, but we can surely use him. But that's why it's a great team. I think Dante came up big for us. He's a senior.
Mm-hmm.
Plays so many different spots. Hit 3 threes, and it was his first start as a senior, and he was excited. Our guys were excited for him to get that opportunity. So it was just next man up. We started out great, didn't finish as strong as I wanted to. Little immature finish there, but I'll take it, man. They're a dangerous team, and they're actually battling some injuries too. So it's just kind of that time of year.
Yeah, I saw it was 59-32 at the half, and you guys kind of cruised there in the second half. How many got some playing time, Coach, on Tuesday night, and what did you see out of some of the other fellas?
Yeah, we got quite a few guys in. Should have got more in. I think that was the message at the end of the game. Not that it felt like a loss, but it was just disappointing because you have so many guys who are working so hard for us.
Mm-hmm.
all year. And in that situation, you want to be able to get everybody like really good minutes, and when the league goes down to 14 or whatever it was, then, those things make it a little more difficult. But I thought in the first half, we got some great contributions. Cam Wigley came in and hit a few threes, which is big. Jack Dunbar, he played a great game, hit some big time shots for us as well. And, and then even Chris, Chris Knight came in the first half to spare some minutes. So, you just feel comfortable with those guys, and you're trying to get minutes to guys because you're going to need, even if those 3 minutes down the stretch in a big game, if you need to come in and hit a shot, make a free throw, get a stop, it's invaluable, man. So trying to set them up for success.
No doubt. We talked about Cam and Chris the last time you were on, and I wanted to get around to Jack Dunbar, and my fault I never got there. Mm-hmm. But the first game that we broadcast this year of Mount, and I forget who it was against, and he was in fairly early that game and hit just a beautiful looking shot. I thought, who is this kid? And I look, okay, Dunbar. I looked at he just reminds me of a steady Eddie kind of cat who's just going to go out there and play, and he'll be able to knock down some shots for you almost anywhere on the floor. Is that a fair assessment or not?
No, it is, and he's just a sophomore too.
Yeah.
He didn't even really play out at all last year. Had a big off season, and then it's just the same thing for him. It's just the consistency. He gets into his head a little too much. It's probably my fault a little bit for, some games he plays a lot more than others, depending on some matchups. But he's going to give 100%. He's going to play so hard. He plays with great enthusiasm, and when his shots are falling, it obviously helps us very much. But he's a great. I mean, I say this about all our guys, but he's another great person. Works his tail off, and I'm just, when guys go in when they have the opportunity and have success, like you just feel good for them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if players probably don't get that, and parents probably don't get that, but you're just kind of rooting for the guys and all of our guys who work hard just to have a great moment, make them happy at least for a night.
Absolutely. And I kind of feel that way sitting courtside, obviously biased and everything. But I mean, I literally lovingly root for these kids every time they're out there. And even if they're on the bench and you see them celebrating a teammate's accomplishment, you're like, oh, man, I hope he can go in there and get a bucket. He can get a high five or something like that. And when you've got that going, you got something special. You know that.
Absolutely. And, we felt that at the beginning of the season. Just a lot of fresh, newer guys who haven't really won here yet. And you could see that there's some hunger, but again, with that, Sam, as you know, we've been together a lot of years. Like when you have a really good team, there's just sacrifice involved. And
right.
It's unnatural to be, selfless. It just is. It's something you have to work on. You just have to work on it almost every single day. You have to talk about it. You have to confront it. But once you get to that point, even a little bit, then that's when some great things start to happen.
No doubt. Mike Fuline is our guest, outstanding head basketball coach of the University of Mount Union, checking in with us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, AM 1310 WDPN, all across our social media platforms, and of course the Q92 Radio YouTube channel. All right, Coach Mike, we got a game Saturday at 1. Ohio Northern will be in town. This kind of herky-jerky schedule that will be over by the end of the month. Have you found any challenges with you and your staff or the guys trying to get on some kind of routine with the on again, off again switch? If you think you'll be able to, come through that storm okay?
Well, it is a storm because they're an excellent team. They're going to get up and pressure and press and run all kinds of motion. They beat us last year here. So just a tough matchup, but I think we'll be ready. I think we feel pretty good about what we want to do versus them. And then the game starts and things change. I understand that, but this is a weird time of year, Sam, because there's no one here, right? I mean, there's just our players, the women basketball team, administrators, but, you're feeding them all day and you're practicing in the morning and then they come back maybe and shoot at night. They go and left. So you're trying to get them through. Today was a big day and tomorrow try to keep them occupied. And my assistant, Mike Gregg, does a tremendous job of getting them, not only fed, but just things to do. And then once Saturday hits and hopefully we get a win, then we send them home. We get to send them home for about 6 days. And then we come back and have 2 tough games, one against, I think, the 7th ranked team in the country. So it's the first time we haven't been traveling over the break, over Christmas break. And I'll be honest with you, it kind of feels good to be home and not on a flight and worrying about 30 people, so it's, I'll take this all the time.
No doubt. You mentioned you get some whoppers coming to town here pretty soon on the national landscape, and I think there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on the Mac Center coming up here for those couple of games. But that's great though for the program, and I love how Coach Dart they kind of scheduled up this year in football a little bit early in the season. You guys are doing the same thing. You learn a lot more about your club that way, don't you?
Yeah, and once you get to a point, like the record, really, it matters. It does, but not as much as it just doesn't. Like you just want to challenge yourself. You want to get, it's a math equation. So you're trying to play as many good teams as you possibly can. So once you've been with me, we felt like we've been burned a couple times, in the past years, not even getting into the tournament. So you're trying to set that up, win, lose, or draw. At least the resume looks pretty good.
I got to tell you, and gosh, don't get angry. Last night, I was talking to Keller in the lobby. Last night, I got online, and I'm looking and saying, Division III National Championship. What's the dates? Where are the games this year? Should I start thinking about? And I did. I let myself go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God. And I know you guys aren't going to do that, but you talked about the record important, yes, but the strength of schedule. Then you start looking at schedule strength in the region, and you start thinking about brackets down the road. These games are all pretty big, aren't they? No matter what, who, when, or why.
Even in Division I don't think people realize those weird November games. Football's still going on.
Yep.
And I think I may have told you. I told somebody this. I mean, a good friend of mine, like a week and a half ago, high school season was just starting, so maybe 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Hey, man, when do you guys start?" And we were like 6 games in to the season, So, like, it's. I always say this, and I say this to my wife all the time. Like, it's like nobody knows that. So these games are so strange, because you can lose a season and before Thanksgiving, even right after. So you're just trying to stay afloat, and then eventually, everyone's kind of attention turns, once January hits, into some basketball, and you just want to be set up when you're in that position to. You want to win all the games, but you want to be set up to say, if you have a couple letdowns here and there, that it's just not going to ruin you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you got to battle that. You got to battle that every single year. You guys do a masterful job at that. Coach Mike Fuline is our guest here on the Sam Bourquin Show. If I just came up to you on the street today and I said, "Yeah, Coach, Mount Union, how you doing? Tell me about the OAC 2025-2026. What's that looking like top to bottom?"
It's such a bizarre kind of feel. I was talking to Susie, our women's coach, about this today. Just without John Carroll, I mean, it's kind of stinks. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just, but again, I've done this for a long time here. So you get in those kind of routines and who you play, and I'm checking scores. I feel like I'm always checking them. I mean, Pete's my friend, but you're not really checking. Like, what are you checking it for? It's not even in our league. So. Right. It makes it hard. It does. I mean, to have one less team, but man, are there some good basketball teams? I mean, there really is. We've played 2 top teams with Muskingum and Otterbein. So anyone can beat anyone on any given night. I think Ohio Northern beat Capital, whose Capital's really good. And then Wilmington beat Northern by 10 or 15 and looked unbelievable in that game. So it's, every coach says it, but it's just the truth. Like, you just – when Lenny was alive, he used to sit in this office. He'd tell me, because Coach, if you could just win your home games and split on the road, you're going to have a ton of success. And there's been a lot of truth. There's been a lot of truth to that.
No doubt. It's a crazy league, and you've been through it. You've seen it. Teams can just jump up and bite you one night, and you go into a game and you're prepared and you're studied up and your guys are focused, and then you look up and it's, oh my God, we're down 10 with 8 minutes to go, and you just gotta find your way and grind through it. Coach, it is a Thursday. Are you ready to take the 3-question Thursday quiz before we let you go?
I'm ready, buddy.
Here we go. He's ready. Studied up. Question number 1. What is a move the Cleveland Cavaliers should think about making right now?
Oh, I wish I could tell you. I have not watched them as much as I have in the past, but I'll give you a quick story. I was at one of their games, I think 2 or 3 years ago, with my buddy Chad Bailey, and he has unbelievable suits right on the floor.
Oh, I know.
Yes, and like, they're playing the Knicks in the playoffs, and you just kind of watch the game from a coaching perspective, and just the physicality. They just kind of hit us in the mouth a little bit. Mm-hmm. When you have 2 bigs that can't really stretch you, it just compacted the floor so much. So I don't know what moves to make. I really don't. I mean, I love their coach. I love their team. But maybe if you just got one kind of, back in the 80s, one type of bad boy, on that team, right, to kind of set the tone a little bit, I think everyone would grow from that.
I think so. I think it's that simple. I just know. I don't know if that 80s goon is out there, but we certainly need one. Question number 2. When Coach Fuline was a little whippersnapper, what time did you usually wake up on Christmas morning?
Oh man, when I was young, I used to break all the rules, because I would somehow find some some presents when I should have probably found some presents and maybe opened them and repackaged them up a few times. It was bad, buddy. But we'd be up, my brother and I, we shared this little room, together all the way through high school, and probably be up around 6:30 or 7. But Papa's up every day at 5:30 or 6. I think he sleeps 3 hours a day, even back then. So everybody was up and ready to go.
Ready to roll. All right. Question number 3, Coach Fuline. What is your all-time favorite board game?
Man, that's crazy you bring that up. My wife and kids, a lot of them, college, high school, they're like addicted right now when we're all together. Everybody's home from college to board games, man. It's crazy. I don't know if I have a favorite. I always liked the sports version of the Trivial Pursuit game.
Yep.
I used to enjoy that quite a bit. Even way back, Candyland used to be one we used to play all the time. Nowadays, you get on your phone and there's something like on Netflix, you can play the game. I'm like, that's not fun. But we're currently looking for any suggestions for good games over the break.
All right. If I get any, I will send them your way. You got that.
Deal, man. That's
all right. Coach, appreciate you as always for coming on. Thanks for your time. Have a great rest of the practice week, and we will see you over at the Mac Center on Saturday.
You got it, brother. I'll see you on Saturday, man.
There he goes. My man, Mike Fuline, head coach of the Purple Raiders of Mount Union, joining us here on the Sam Bourquin Show, 1310 WGPN.